to another episode of Legal Dilemmas, where you will find clear, concise legal advice. My name is Brenda.
And my name's Safina.
Today's topic is about parental responsibility. We will start with a simple definition, please, Safina. Can you define what is a parent?
Yeah, I think you're right, Brenda. In order to fully understand what is parental responsibility, our starting point has to be who is a parent. So, just think about it logically. If a child is born to a married woman, the husband is presumed to be the father unless it's proved otherwise.
Okay, so what is parental responsibility?
So, once you've established who is a parent, parental responsibility is essentially all the rights and the duties that arise from parental responsibility. And essentially it's not linked directly to parentage. So just because you're a parent, it doesn't mean that you have parental responsibility. So essentially we're looking at rights, for example, to decide where the child should live, to choose the child's name, to decide on education and religious upbringing for the child, to discipline the child, to consent to medical treatment for the child. And there's lots of other specific rights. I'm sure you can all think of them. But in terms of duties, now that's a bit more tricky. It's a bit different. And the duty on a parent is to care for the child. And there is legislation out there that tells us that we need to ensure that we exercise a duty to ensure that the child is properly cared for. It's quite a basic approach. Scotland have a slightly more convoluted and more detailed explanation, but we're not going to go into that today. But essentially it's just about making sure that the child is properly cared for, so things like abuse don't happen and so forth.
Okay, so who actually has parental responsibility?
So, as I started with the definition of who is a parent, you're correct to assume, therefore, that if a husband and wife are married and they've had a child, it's assumed that they both have parental responsibility for that child. Where they're not married, so if their mother and father are not married, at the time of the birth, then only the mother has parental responsibility, and that's from a biological point of view. A father, however, can acquire parental responsibility under the law, and we can discuss that further.
So how can a father acquire how can an unmarried father acquire parental responsibility?
Well, there's a number of ways that an unmarried father can acquire parental responsibility under the law. He can become registered as the child's father. So, for example, going to the registry office and having his name recorded on the birth certificate. He can have a dialogue or conversation with the mother about a parental responsibility agreement by consent. And finally, if they can't come to an agreement, he can make an application through the court and ask the court that he be granted a parental responsibility order.
Can more than one person have parental responsibility?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, several people can simultaneously have parental responsibility, but it's important to note they can't all have autonomous rights over the child at the same time. Under the law, parental responsibility is joint and several, and it's actually quite convenient in an emergency situation. But there will be some practical issues where a number of people have parental responsibility.
Okay, so the summary there is that in general terms, the biological parents, if they're married and named on the birth certificate, always have parental responsibility. If a person is not on the birth certificate, they can apply for parental responsibility through the courts as long as they can prove they're the parent. Is that
Absolutely.
correct?
That is spot on, Brenda. Hopefully that's been helpful to you and our viewers.
Yes, if you have any further questions, please comment and ask anything you wish to around this topic. Please like, subscribe, share and make sure you have your notifications on for other videos. and we are happy to address any other issues around parental responsibility and any questions you may have.
Thank you very much.